What's going on, everybody? Adam Baum here once again. Thank you for joining me this evening. Before we get into the video today, I just want to say real quick that I hope you all are safe in this crazy time. And I just want to say that I stand with the protesters, man. You know, being against racism is one of the reasons I got into the kind of music I got into in the first place, and it's always been something very important to me and something that I have felt that has needed to change for a long time. And I don't want to talk about this too much because that's not what these videos are about, and that's not, and I don't really feel like it's my place to make a lot of comments on this, but I also don't want to be silent and complicit. So just want to make that clear. That's how I feel. If you are not against racism, then please go ahead and find another channel to watch, because this one is not gonna support you on that front. Okay, so today we're talking about power chords and bar chords. And the reason that power chords and bar chords are so great is because if you don't know a lot about guitar, they can easily elevate your playing to the next level if you can learn how to play them and play them fluently. And yeah, so let's hop right into it. Today is power chords and bar chords. Let's get into it, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Alright, so let's talk about power chords and bar chords. And the reason I want to talk about them together is because they're pretty related. I would say they're related. If you can do one, you can probably do the other. Bar chords are basically just like a little bit more complicated version of a power chord, I guess. So what exactly is a power chord? Let's start with those first because those are a little easier and they lead into the bar chord thing. So I'm sure you probably know this chord right here, the E chord. This is an E. I'm in standard tuning right now, by the way. This is just standard E tuning. So you have this E chord here. Now, if you want to move that up the fretboard, you can simply do this. And this is a power chord. And this is, I think this is a power chord too. Just these two fingers. So you just take that middle finger off of the first fret, and you have an E power chord. Now, if you move it up to the next fret, you have an E sharp power chord. And let me just turn it up here so you can hear it. So you got the E power chord. You move it up one, you got an E sharp. Move it up again, you got an F. And so on and so forth, all the way up the neck. So you can move that all the way up the neck. And all I'm doing for that is taking my first finger and putting it on the first fret, first string. Next two fingers, or not next two fingers, ring finger and pinky finger on third fret, second and third string. And again, so you're starting here with the E power chord, and you just move these two fingers up, and you just put your first finger there, and then it's that same finger configuration for all the way up the neck. And you can even move it down the strings. So I could start here and move it up and put my first finger, first fret, second string, and ring finger and pinky third and fourth strings on the third fret, and so on and so forth. So that's what a power chord is, and they're used in almost any song in the genre of rock. You will see a power chord somewhere in that song, probably. Or a bar chord, which is what we'll get to next. But so that's the basis. And if you can learn how to just play around with that and get fluent in, just jam around with power chords, like anyway, so on and so forth. But get used to just playing that chord well. And like I said, the great thing about it is you don't have to change up your finger positioning really all that much. All you're doing is sliding up the neck, up and down the neck with the same fingers in the same spots. Another thing you'll do a lot of times when you're using power chords is is you'll be playing power chords in relation to the open low E string. And so, a lot of times you'll be chugging with that and using power chords to accent the different notes that you want to hit. For example, something like this. And so on and so forth. So get used to doing that. Get used to chugging on the low E string and then using the power chords to punctuate the notes you want to hit. And yeah, you'll see your playing improve a lot. Now, if you want to take that to the next level, and I guess it's not even necessarily the next level. I mean, there are some places in songs that sound better with the power chords versus the bar chords. I tend to use power chords mostly. Just because I like the way they sound, because you're going to play all 6 strings when you play a bar chord versus a power chord, which you're only playing really 3 strings. So as I said before, when you're playing a power chord, you only have these 3 strings, pushed down. So you're only really trying to strum those 3 strings. If you want to take it to the next level and be able to strum all 6 strings in your chord, you can do what is called a bar chord. So the term bar comes from the fact that you are going to be taking one of your fingers and barring an entire fret. I think I was reading that the word bar comes from the fact that it's sort of just like placing a bar onto, imagine you have just like a bar, like a metal bar, and you placed it on a whole fret. That's where the term bar comes from. You can spell it a couple different ways. You can just spell it B-A-R. I've also seen it spelled B-A-R-R-E. Other things like that. So let's take a look at what a bar chord actually is. So there are a bunch of different bar chords that you can do, and the thing that makes them different is which finger positioning you're using for basically the root chord is what I would call it. So in this case, we're going to look at the E bar chord, and like I said, we've been talking about this E chord here. So you take your standard E chord, and you're going to keep this finger on this time, your middle finger. And to bar that chord and slide it up to the next fret, all you have to do, move those fingers up 1 fret each, and then bar the whole first fret with your pointer finger, your first finger. So that's going to sound like this when you're playing it up the neck. I'm sure you can hear the difference there, and that's because, like I said, I'm playing all 6 strings versus just the 3 strings. And it basically achieves the same effect, right? You're taking this root E and you're just sliding all the way up the neck with a bar. And essentially what you're doing is turning your pointer finger into a capo. That's all a capo is, right? A capo bars a fret so that you can play in different keys. That's really all you're doing. You're essentially turning your pointer finger into a capo. So let's look at another way you can do a bar chord. You can take another chord, the A chord. I'm pretty sure this is A. I'm not 100%, but these 3 fingers. So these just three fingers consecutively on the 2nd fret is the A chord. And again, you can slide that all the way up the fret by simply barring frets with your finger. So that one looks a little different because because if you're doing this, you can't use your first finger to bar a fret, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to take your ring finger and use that to hold all 3 of those strings, and then slide it up. Same thing as the E bar chord. You just slide that A up to the next fret and then bar the whole first fret, and that's going to sound like this. So those are the 2 that I most commonly use when it comes to bar chords, but there are all kinds of other ones. There's minor bar chords, for example. This. Again, there's all different root formations that you can do with your hands, and then just bar the fret behind it, and to achieve that same effect with a bunch of different chords. So you can get a bunch of different sounds out of that. And again, it's super easy. You're not moving your left hand a whole lot. You're keeping your left hand in the same position and just sliding it up and down the guitar. So get used to those, finger configurations. Get used to doing it with different patterns and stuff. So let's take a look at an example of an actual song that uses these patterns. Now I don't know, I'm not actually sure whether the Ramones actually played this with power chords or bar chords. I'm not entirely sure, but I'll show you how it looks like with both. So this is just the verse for Blitzkrieg Bop, and let's just take a look at it with power chords real quick, what that looks like. So you're going to start with a power chord on the 5th fret, and I'm pretty sure this is the right key for the song. I know the pattern is the same. I'm pretty sure this is the right key, but if it's not, don't judge me. So anyway, this is what the pattern looks like. It looks like this. And obviously that's repeated a couple times in the verse. But the point is that that's all that song is. It's just power chords. And yeah, in like the same 3 spots too. There's like 3 different chords that are played, 3 or 4 different power chords in that song. They're just played in slightly different orders, and that's what gives you the verse and the chorus and the bridge and the intro and all that stuff. So let's look at that same thing with bar chords. And for this one, we're going to start with that E bar chord on the 5th fret. And then I'm going to switch to that A here for the last 2 notes of the progression. So that's going to sound like this. So there you go. There's that. And again, if you don't know much about guitar, that's probably a good place to start. Is like bands like the Ramones and stuff, who are just literally just using power chords, and that's it. That's what all of their songs are used. I mean, there's a couple little leads in a couple of their songs, I guess, like 1-string leads and stuff like that. But generally, it's just all power chords. That's what the Ramones' entire catalog is based off of, is power chords. So if you can learn those and get good at them, then like I said, it's a really easy way to step up your guitar playing game to that next level if you're a beginner, if you're a total beginner. If you're not a total beginner, I'm sure you already know about this and all that stuff. But anyway, let's just take a quick little look. I'm just going to jam out for a second and show you what it looks like when you get really fluent with bar chords and playing bar chords with different, strumming patterns and picking patterns. So let me jam out for a quick second here. Enjoy the sounds of the Red Swirl Jackson. And yeah, let me just give you a quick taste of what it sounds like when you get good at doing this. And you can just freestyle. I'm just making this up off the top of my head. This is not pre-planned or anything. I'm just going to jam out with some easy chord progressions and show you what that looks like. So here we go. All right, so I hope I didn't bore you too much there. I hope you enjoyed that. But that's just me messing around with bar chords, and it's super easy. Just keep my fingers in the same spot, move around the neck, play different strumming patterns, and you have a song. You have all the ingredients you need for a song right there. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this one. This was a fun little lesson, and again, I hope you're staying safe out there. I know the world is crazy right now, and I hope these videos give you a little bit of happiness throughout your day. That's all I'm trying to do here. So enjoy, and yeah, get really good at power chords and bar chords, and you'll be a rock star in no time. Thanks a lot, guys. See you next time.